Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson will appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee starting tomorrow morning to kick off 4 days of confirmation hearings. Jackson is the first Black woman ever nominated to the High Court, and if confirmed by the evenly divided Senate, she will be the first Black woman to serve on the court. Jackson has spent the month so far meeting with Democratic and Republican senators.
And the hearings, which again begin tomorrow, will give Brown Jackson the chance to publicly explain how she approaches cases and what she believes is her role in the Supreme Court. To give us some more insight into the hearings, we're joined right now by Cal State Long Beach professor Jason Whitehead. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. A lot of questions to get to, so let me just dive in. We know that Brown Jackson, she's been making the rounds on Capitol Hill prior to tomorrow's hearing. She's been talking with members on both sides of the aisle. Can you kind of break down what we can expect tomorrow? And again, as we mentioned, this is 4 days of hearings.
Yeah, tomorrow, the first day of the hearings, is traditionally a day and scheduled to be so this way, where there are introductions being made. She's going to be introduced by some handpicked people, some very friendly people, to introduce her record, to introduce her background. She's going to be able to make an opening statement. That'll be her first chance to address the Judiciary Committee. And then all 22 members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, 11 Republicans, 11 Democrats, will all make opening statements as well. So mostly a formality, but you usually get a good chance to get a read on how a nominee is handling the pressure in that first opening statement.
It's my honor.
Ready. An historic nomination. But what will this really mean for the balance of the Supreme Court if she is confirmed?
Really not much, because Justice Breyer was a liberal justice, voted very consistently with the liberal wing of the court. We have every indication that Ketanji Brown Jackson will also vote with the liberal wing of the court on those constitutional issues where political difference really does matter on the court. So it won't matter as far as the breakdown, but Republicans have been pretty serious about playing hardball with the Supreme Court. It's a major issue for their constituency in a way that perhaps it isn't with the Democratic constituency. It's not as high on their list of priorities. So it's still possible that they could try to play hardball with this seat and really try to force a couple of errors on the other side and get some Democrats to vote against her.
And here's really the big question. Can Brown Jackson, can she actually be confirmed without Republican support? What do you see happening here?
She absolutely can be. If the Democrats hold together, it's a 50-50 Senate. And because of some recent changes on the way that the United States Senate votes on Supreme Court nominees, you only need a simple majority. And so you could easily have 50 Democrats voting for her, 50 Republicans voting against her, and the Vice President Kamala Harris, would then cast the tie-breaking vote. Republicans obviously are hoping it doesn't go that way. They're hoping they can get at least one Democratic senator to defect, but we'll see what happens.
And what can we expect in these hearings compared to, say, the last few that we've seen, including like Justice Brett Kavanaugh's hearing?
Yeah, I think in prior hearings, the number one thing is you're trying to get the justice to commit to a particular judicial philosophy, which has clear implications for certain cases. Take abortion, for example. In the case of recent nominee Amy Coney Barrett, she had written some things that indicated the way she was going to vote on that, or gun rights, or things like that. So you're looking into her record to try to examine whether or not there are clues about the way that she would vote as a justice. She's not going to indicate that in the hearing. She's going to stay very mum about the way that she would vote, as every other justice has for the past 15 to 20 years. But there might be some things that they can find in her background as a public defender and other things that may, they're hoping may trip her up.
All right. Well, all eyes will be watching tomorrow as they begin.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor.
Absolutely.
7:16 right now on this Sunday morning. Let's take a look at your forecast.